In 1910, Japan annexed Korea. With that act, Japan took its first full step as an empire. But almost immediately afterward, Japan encountered an unexpected and powerful tailwind. In 1914, World War I began. It was a global war, fought mainly in Europe. But for Japan, it became something quite different. It was, in many ways, a war that Japan won without truly fighting. From this moment, Japan experienced a remarkable success. And at the same time, it began to develop a very dangerous illusion. During World War I, Japan stood on the side of the victors, along with Britain, France, and Russia. However, Japan did not fight large-scale battles in Europe. Its main roles were limited: monitoring German naval forces, maintaining security in the Asia-Pacific region, and above all, taking over German colonial possessions and economic rights. In other words, while other nations were bleeding on the battlefield, Japan was quietly accumulating gains. Around this time, a certain mood began to spread within Japanese society. Japan now stands alongside the great powers. Even in an age of war, Japan has acted wisely. These assessments were not entirely wrong. But this was also the moment when the first subtle misalignment began. One of Japan's greatest gains came from China's Shandong Peninsula. Ports, railways, mines, all of these had been developed over many years by Germany. Japan acquired them as a result of victory in the war. Through this experience, Japan learned a certain lesson about international politics. This is how the world works. Align with the stronger side. Remain with the winners, and rewards will follow. For Japan's diplomatic elite, this became a powerful and unforgettable success story. But at the same time, deep resentment remained in China. Why was Chinese territory being decided without China itself? That resentment would later grow into widespread anti-Japanese sentiment. After the war, Japan took its seat at international conferences. There, alongside Britain, France, and the United States, sat a Japanese delegation. For Japan, this was a historic moment. Not long before, Japan had been treated as a non-civilized nation and forced to accept unequal treaties. Now, it was seated among the victors. At this time, a new sense of confidence spread throughout Japanese society. Japan has finally caught up with the West. Perhaps it is even beginning to surpass it. This confidence energized the nation and pushed it forward. But confidence, very easily, turns into overconfidence. Here, Japan began to overlook a crucial transformation. World War I marked the final stage of the classical imperialist era. European powers were exhausted. Colonial rule itself was beginning to be questioned. At the same time, new ideas were emerging. National self-determination, international cooperation, a global order not based solely on military force. Yet Japan, shaped by its wartime experience, drew a different conclusion. In the end, power decides everything. The international system moves according to the logic of the strong. This was a 19th century worldview. The world was changing, but Japan did not fully recognize it. Japan suffered minimal damage. It emerged as a victorious power. It expanded its territory and interests. And its international status rose dramatically. Everything went almost too well. As a result, this success was interpreted not as circumstance, but as proof that Japan's choices had been correct. Gradually, a particular mindset took root. Japan's way is always right. If Japan acts firmly, the world will accept it. This is the illusion of success. Because Japan succeeded, it became unable to imagine failure. World War I elevated Japan into the ranks of the great powers. But at the same time, Japan began to misread the changing rules of the international order. This small misunderstanding was never fully corrected. Instead, it was carried forward into the next era. How did Japan, still trapped by this illusion of success, take another step toward a far more dangerous choice? Why was Japan unable to stop?